what does the audience want to learn about? How could you answer those questions? So it's super simple. Everybody wants to learn how to make more money. Everybody wants to learn how to level up with investing in real estate. So I think there's just a big opportunity to take these topics and programs and turn them into viral content.
Welcome back, guys. Got a great guest for you guys today. Neel Dhingra. How's it going, man?
Great, man. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. I just saw, I saw you had a big conference in Vegas. That's how I found out about you.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to talk about that conference.
Yeah, so it's called the Forward event. We do it every summer in Vegas at Resorts World. We had it last couple of years, and it's really about moving forward, as the name implies. But honestly, it was started as just a passion project. So I had been in the mortgage and real estate space for a number of years, built my business. And the way I grew my business was doing content marketing and really putting myself out there on social, and then funneling that into different tactics to get business and grow my business and recruit and do all these things. So I started doing that. And then what I noticed was everybody in my industry started reaching out saying, hey, Neel, can you teach us how you're doing this? Or, hey, we'd love to have you speak on this. And so I started to do a lot of education within the industry. And then it kind of transitioned into, hey, I could really help people really move their business forward in this industry. So it started off with me doing just webinars and small events and just really micro events is how I got started. So I did micro events of like maybe 10, 20 people, just meetup style. And then from there, it grew to like, 50 people and 80 people and 100 people. And then this summer we had 1,000 people there.
Jeez.
And it's kind of crazy when you think about online content, you think about millions of views and going viral and all this stuff. But then when you're sitting in a room with 1,000 people, like it feels really big. Like that's a big impact. So in person, totally different vibe than online.
Yeah.
But I love doing both. I think it's super necessary. I know it's difficult and not scalable to do in-person events, but I think it's a great way to really get people together and make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always try to go to at least, 5, 10 a year in-person conferences or events.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in it.
Yeah. And it's easy for me because I'm in Vegas. Everyone comes here.
Yeah, so all the conferences are here. So I actually talked about this a lot of like, hey, I had the experience of being somebody in the audience, and it may not be like something revolutionary that was said on stage, but it kind of just hits you at the right place, right time. Like there's something to be said for leaving what you're doing every day and maybe even flying to another city, sitting there, meeting new people. And then now you have the like mind space to really receive something new and to really reflect, oh man, I've been doing this wrong. Or, oh, you know what? I really need to make a change in my business or in my life. And that wouldn't happen, just in your day-to-day grind. You had to get out of there and go to someplace new. So I'm a big believer, like change your environment, get some new information, meet some new people, and just watch how you're
Absolutely.
Can change.
It's the energy, it's the networking, it's the knowledge. I mean, you just can't sit at home and grind. You got to get out there.
100%. And I'm an introvert. Like I don't want to go out there and do all these things, but it gets easier, the
For
more
sure,
you do
it. Yeah, I was a huge introvert also. I like what you did because being a real estate agent, that's pretty saturated. There's a lot of them, but you were able to make content to sort of differentiate yourself from the rest, right?
Yeah. So this is the thing with people in real estate and mortgage. They are kind of traditionally the last people to adopt new things. So it's like one of the industries that's kind of traditional, old school. There's a lot of tech and innovation there, but it just like slowly takes place. So what I found is that creates a big opportunity for people in that industry. And one of the biggest opportunities we all know, with social is just like doing content, putting out content marketing. But a lot of people in the industry say no for the audience. They're like, well, there's too many people doing it, or they think it's boring. And what I found is like some of the most basic advice, like when you break it down and make it super simple, has been the content that has gone the most viral and has also brought in the most business and all that kind of stuff, because we take it for granted because we do this stuff every day. But the average consumer does it like once every 5 years.
Right.
And so for them, like it's all really good information. But the key is taking like boring, complex topics and turning it into something more engaging.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of my niche of like, hey, how can we take this kind of program that could help you buy a property or an investment property? How do we make it super interesting? And so what I really get into is like, I think of it like a video game, like how do we hack attention? How do we get people to watch this video for just a few more seconds? So that way we have the opportunity to teach them something important.
Right. That's cool. What have been your most viewed videos or clips?
So for me, like the content that's done the best has been teaching something. So I think this would help for any content creators out there. It's like, what does the audience want to learn about? So what I do is like go to Answer the Public, go to Google Trends. What are people actively like typing in this in the search bar? Like, what are they looking for? What are trending topics right now? And then what are the questions around those, and how could you answer those questions? So it's super simple. I mean, we overcomplicate the process, but really all it is like, what do people want to learn? What could you teach? And so for me, the best content, the most viral content has been teaching things about real estate and mortgage and finance.
Right.
And everybody wants to learn how to make more money. Everybody wants to learn how to level up with investing in real estate. So I think there's just a big opportunity to take these topics and programs and turn them into viral content.
I love that. And have you seen like a video length that is like a sweet spot, or does it even matter?
So for short form, I've been doing a ton of these. I've probably posted a couple thousand videos now at this point on just one platform. And then now, scaling to other platforms. But what I found the optimal length after analyzing all this was like 37 seconds.
37.
Yeah,
That's so specific.
So we just ran it through like a spreadsheet.
On YouTube or?
On Instagram Reels.
Instagram Reels, okay.
And so the reason why I focused on Instagram Reels is because Instagram has our demographic, which is millennials, and we're looking for millennials with money.
Right.
So the millennials are the biggest generation in the history of this country. They're also in their prime purchasing years. So I'm in real estate, but it doesn't matter what you sell if you're marketing to millennials. Instagram's a good place to do it. And then the other cool thing about Instagram for us is we do a lot of conversion and starting conversations through DMs. So we do content, and then it leads to DM conversations. That isn't really possible on YouTube. On TikTok, I'm not sure if people are using DMs as much as they are.
Probably not.
And so Instagram's kind of like the sweet spot for doing those DM conversions. So I've been focusing primarily there.
Dude, I love that. I make so much off DMs. It's not even funny. I mean,
yeah,
it's such an underrated thing because most people are just DMing to talk to people or reply to stories.
Yeah.
But DMs, that's where the money is, man.
Yeah, it's going down in the DMs. Like people used to joke about like sliding in the DMs, but that is where I've created so many relationships.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be business. That's the important thing. Like we talk about starting a DM conversation. What I found is kind of funny, Sean, is like a lot of DMs don't start with business conversations. They start with like you posting that you're here at the Win, and someone's like, "Yo, I didn't know they had a podcast studio at the Win."
Right.
And then then you talk about it, and then 2-3 weeks later, we're talking about some business deal. But the icebreaker, the conversation starter, is just what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
So like, I've been a big proponent of like just do cool and show it. I noticed one of you guys out here, he's out there, he just keeps taking his camera out and like filming us and doing stuff. And then
he's good at that.
Yeah. So now he's capturing content to show, which is going to be a great conversation starter.
Yeah. Man, I love that. And are you a fan of that new update where you can only message someone once on Instagram?
I didn't realize that.
So now you can only send one message.
Until they respond.
Yeah, they have to respond now.
Okay. Yeah, I think I guess it can help because, you do get like a lot of spam on the platform. So maybe that's what they're trying to reduce. But at the same time, it's going to make you have to level up what's that one message that you sent.
Yeah.
You got to really think about it. You can think about the copy and everything, the words.
How much money is your setup, or like how much money would you say someone needs to get started making content on average?
So I would say you need about $100. People talk about buying thousands of dollars. We're in a studio here that probably has, I don't know, $1 million worth of equipment in it. But what you need is just this device. Everyone's got it in their pocket. It's the phone. But you do need, I found, a mic and a light. So a light is going to make everything look better. And a lot of people use these ring lights. I think that's super harsh. You could see the ring on your eyes or on your face.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is getting a softbox light. There's a simple setup on Amazon for like $50 or $60.
Okay.
And then get a mic, because if people can't hear you, they're not going to be able to watch the content. I think what you want to do is you don't need the content to look perfect, but you don't want to make people work to have to watch your video. So if they have to turn it all the way up, or if they have to like squint because you're not sharp, you just want to give yourself every advantage. We were just joking outside about people saying, "Hey man, what mic are you using? What camera are you using to shoot the videos?" That's not the reason why the videos do well. It's it's like what you're teaching, the words you said. But it does help if your audio is on point. It does help if you're crystal clear, because I've just found this, Sean. People treat me better because my content looks better. People do judge a book by its cover.
Right.
So like it'd be like me rolling up in here today and I smelled funny and I didn't take a shower. I just looked weird. You'd be like, your opinion of me would change.
Yeah.
For sure. Versus, you show up prepared. So I think if you're going to post content online, just get it dialed into that, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And then consistently hit that.
I definitely agree with the mic part because I thought I could just film reaction videos without a mic, but the audio is so bad.
Yeah, and
Like,
they
you can
can't hear
notice
you.
it.
And then what you'll find, like what really cuts through the noise is you have to think about this. When people are scrolling on social media, they're kind of dumb. It's not that they're dumb, but they're in a dumb state of mind. Just
Right.
think about your own behavior. You come home, you're just sitting on the couch. Some people call this doom scrolling. You're just kind of going through.
Yeah.
What would cut through the noise? Sharp audio. Like the picture looks good, the light looks decent, and then you say something that connects. Now you've got like all the things aligned. So
That's true.
I think about in a world where there's just a fire hose of content coming at the viewer, how do we cut through the noise?
Yeah. Which platform other than Instagram do you see potential in?
So obviously TikTok's blown up. It is like a little hit or miss. I found for me it didn't quite work, but I know people in my industry that are crushing TikTok. I didn't really connect with the right audience there. Like it may be too young. I'm
Right.
not sure, but I know people who are doing that. So I think it's like everybody needs to find their thing. I know other people who are not getting any reach on Instagram, but they're crushing LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm not on LinkedIn, but my buddy Chris Doe was just telling me that he's blowing up on LinkedIn and connecting with all these professionals there.
Wow.
So I think what you need to do is like it becomes really overwhelming when you think about TikTok, YouTube Shorts, YouTube long form, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, right? All these things, and you're like, shit, how do I keep up with all of this?
Yeah.
Maybe just find one platform that you really can go hard on, and then you can repurpose the content on all the other platforms. So for me, that's Instagram. But then also I got into copywriting in the last year and really like trying to get better at writing. So for me, that's Twitter, which is now X. So I'll take, test ideas and just short form, just write a few sentences, see what connects with the audience
Yeah.
on Twitter, then turn those into pieces of content for Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like, I think his name's Dan Coe.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
So he's making $4 million a year just off Twitter mainly.
Yeah.
And it's impressive.
It's really impressive because Twitter has a different type of audience. I feel
Yeah.
like it's like it's higher up the food chain as far as the people you can connect with there. I don't have a huge audience on Twitter. I do have a decent audience there, but I've connected with the people who could really move the needle, like investors, people raising money,
Wow.
different types of businesses, some of the biggest podcasts in the country. Like they're on Twitter, and
Yeah.
you can actually catch their attention there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It does seem like a more sophisticated, educated audience, right?
Correct. Yeah. So there's a lot of posting there too, but there's there's some good stuff that you could post there and connect with. So what I found is just get good at writing, and it's kind of interesting the way you write things as far as that first line. Does it grab people's attention? How does the text look on the screen? It's visual too. Like I've noticed a big thing people mess up on Twitter or when they're writing these things is they don't put any spaces. So it'll just be like a paragraph.
Right.
If you would put a couple line breaks, that might be a viral tweet.
Those help a lot on your eyes.
Big time, because now you can see it and absorb it. So
Yeah.
there's a visual aspect to just typing text. And
Yeah.
so I've been getting into that. And I'm not sure if you've been using this at all, but I know Threads was kind of huge.
I deleted it.
You didn't even use it?
No, I
It's-
tried it, but I deleted it.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's more of a distraction because so many other platforms. But I've had it still, and it's kind of plateaued. It's not growing like it was in the very
Right.
beginning. But I've been getting decent reach there too.
Oh, yeah?
And so
Okay.
what I've been doing is just taking these tweets that perform well, also throwing them up on Threads, also putting them in my Instagram story, also putting them in Facebook feed, LinkedIn feed. So it does take like some bandwidth as far as maybe you have an assistant that can help you repurpose
yeah.
content. But if you do go through the time to make a video or write something and it does decent, take that piece of content and put it up everywhere. You might as well, and somebody will connect with you because of it.
So what inspired you to get in this content game? I know you were hanging out with Gary Vee. Was that like an inspiration for you?
Yeah, big time. So I was doing the business. I didn't even have a social media account. So I was just in my business, doing pretty well, but just kind of burnt out on doing the traditional things like calling people, knocking on
Right.
doors, doing all the things that we're supposed to do in sales. And I didn't really do any marketing. So what I found was like at some point, you have to be doing something that has a bigger return than just what standard return. So I think about returns like this, like symmetric. You put in this amount of energy or money, you get this return. You can easily calculate it. But with marketing and content, the return, you put in this time and money, but then the return is, there's no ceiling. Like this thing could be huge. It could be worthless to somebody, and another person, it could be worth $10 million or $100 million, whatever. So I think at some point I realized like, hey, I'm not doing anything that's asymmetric. I'm only doing these things which are very basic. So I was thinking about like, how do I get started with this? And then I would see Gary Vee videos and saw them on YouTube. And then I started to get into social. And I think it was just one time, like I'd seen a bunch of different content, but one of the videos just kind of clicked with me of like, hey, I need to get started with this. So I just started putting out the videos. But I'm telling you, man, these videos I would make in the beginning are so bad. Like I can't even, it's bad when you can't even watch your own video. You know what I mean? Like you're watching it, you can't even get through it.
It's cringy.
It's just cringe, right? But that, I think everybody has to go through that.
Yeah.
And so many people don't start because they don't want to be that cringe video.
Right.
The good news is nobody sees those videos really because
like 10 people.
Yeah, it's just like your friends and family. Yeah. They're probably going to heart it up just to support you. But the algorithm is not going to show it to anybody because it sucks. So it's kind of like you don't have to put it on a pedestal like everybody's watching me. And so I did those videos and then just slowly got better at it.
That's what happened with me, man. My first 10 podcast episodes, I was terrible. Like I think some episodes I talked more than the guest, and it's just like you're learning, you know?
Yeah, it's just like honing your craft, and then you get more comfortable with it. Like with public speaking, I used to be terrible at it. And then so what I did was like just started doing it more, just started trying more. And then you get better, you get more comfortable, you speak with more confidence, authority. I hired a coach just like help me communicate better. And it just, to me, it just proves that there's nobody who can say, oh, that's not for me, I can't do it. Like you can do anything. You just have to start doing it and then focus on getting better. Absolutely. And it's just like sports and anything else. If you just keep practicing, you get better. Yeah. I think a lot of people expect to be good right out the gate, and then when they're not, they get disappointed. But where else in life would you expect to be like world class at something right out the gate?
Yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah, you start playing tennis, like you suck. You know, you have to get good. I think we expect that with everything else, but with content, a lot of people quit because they're not good right away.
Yeah. Oh man, public speaking. I remember my first time. I was myself, man.
Dude, this is so bad. I would get just dry mouth. So I got on stage to public speak in front of maybe just 40 people. Yeah. My mouth goes completely dry. I can't open it. Like it's just stuck. And I'm like, hey, could somebody get me some water? Yeah. And I brought water, and then I started drinking the water. Well, then now I could speak because I've like, it kind of opened it up, started talking, but it kept getting dry again because it was like a nervous reaction. So I kept drinking water. Now all of a sudden, like 8 minutes in, I got to take a piss. And I'm like, I got 30 minutes left.
Oh, man.
It was just a bad situation.
Yeah. My first time was I had to take a Xanax. I was freaking out. It's always the buildup with public speaking. It's never once you're doing it, other than that story, like it's kind of easy, you know?
Yeah, once you just rip the Band-Aid and do it, you get better. And then I think it's just those first few times. Yeah. This is kind of a crazy point. Like with almost everything that we think is difficult, the first time, it's really difficult. Yeah. Like the next time, it's not like it gets a little easier. It gets way easier. That first time is the worst one.
Worst.
And then the bar comes way down. It's not like you're going to be great after one try, but you'll be a lot better off if you just tried it that first time. Yeah. And it's going to be cringe, whatever, you're going to suck, but everybody has to go through that. Yeah. So I just think of like putting yourself in a situation where the risk is low. So like do this in front of 10 people at a dinner, like offer to do a toast. If it bombs, who cares? It's just like 10 friends. People, yeah, no big deal. Like don't put yourself like on stage with 1,000 people.
That's where I messed up. I did about 100, 150 people, but like quality people, not like high income people.
So that one, that's one of those moments where like you'll be taking a shower and you'll be like thinking about, oh dude, man, like
I was on the roof of the house having a panic attack.
Oh my God.
That's how bad it got. And they kept pushing my talk back, which made it worse.
Dang. But you did it. You came through.
Yeah, it came through. As soon as the first word left my mouth, everything went away.
Wow.
Yeah. It was all the buildup. And once I realized that, I wasn't actually scared of public speaking. It was like the thought of like how people would react, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. But have you landed any like big deals just as a result of your content marketing? Yeah,
huge. So I've been able to connect with people. I mean, just us talking right here, like it's because of content. So the main thing for me has been relationships. So it's allowed me to connect with this person who led me to this person. Now we're doing an event together. Right. Now we might be doing deals together or investing. Right. So I found amazing real estate and finance deals because of putting myself out there. Also got to invest in things that I wouldn't have had access to because of doing the content. Right. And then now it's just like I think a lot of the opportunities are coming. It's like hockey stick, like in the beginning, you get little hints, little wins, and those keep you motivated. But then you'll start to get bigger wins the longer you stick with it. It's kind of funny when I think about compounding. The biggest gains come like towards the end of the growth curve.
Right.
So it's, a lot of it is like we'll focus on getting better, but then just don't quit.
Yep.
Like, dude, if you just don't quit, because most people quit, like you'll win.
Dude, it's so powerful.
It's not even like, you don't even have to be the best. Like you just have to be decent and not quit, and you'll find yourself getting new opportunities.
That's the thing, right? I love what you said about compounding, because first 8-9 months of the podcast, I wasn't profitable, but now like huge deals are coming in, and like most people probably would have quit like 2-3 months in.
I think 90%, 95%.
Yeah, but if
they do quit. What is the stat on that? Like how many podcasts?
Yeah, I think 90% don't make it to episode 10 or something.
Exactly.
Something crazy. But dude, if you just dedicated a year to it, the result of podcasting is crazy. The networking, the stuff you learn, the business deals, the sponsorship money, it really is impactful.
Yeah, so podcast and YouTube long form seem to be like the hardest to grow.
Yeah.
But they are the most impactful because you're developing a real relationship with people. If people, like I just think about, I got like 5 or 6 podcasts to listen to now. Now maybe another one because I'm gonna start listening to yours. Like, but you start listening to these guys and gals, like you develop a real relationship with them. There's a stat out there. It says like 7 or 8 hours is required for someone to form a friendship with you online, right? And you don't know them, but they're forming this friendship with you. And so you think about doing that. That's not really scalable in real life. Like you only have so many friends.
Yeah.
But when you start scaling this online, think about the opportunities. It's probably going to be a business that you don't even think you would be in right now. So for me, I was in mortgage and real estate. Now I have an education business. The education business is growing faster than the other business.
Wow.
Because of the content. But I had no idea I was going to be doing education.
Right.
It just sort of happened.
Yeah.
But it's because of doing the content. So I think, maybe 4 years from now, I'm doing some insurance thing. I don't know. Like it doesn't, you don't have to like know all the things that are going to be coming. Just know that there's some things coming if you stick with it.
Yeah. How did you make that first big money? Was it from real estate?
So yeah, I've been doing that for a while. And so what I was making like 200-300 grand a year, which is decent, but I knew I was capable of more. And then when I started doing content marketing, I was able to 4X that.
Wow.
My first 7-figure. This was back in 2018.
Damn.
And then kept growing to like multiple 7 figures from
just off content?
Just off doing content and building a team.
Wow.
So for me, it was like I was a mom and pop, like just a small team, me, maybe 1 or 2 support people. And then we grew to like 23 people. And then I saw, oh, this is how, you can really scale this business. So that part, when I saw that, I was like, I've been doing this wrong. And I think this is the biggest regret, people have in entrepreneur space is like, oh, I wish I would have done it sooner.
Yeah.
That's like the number one thing.
Cliche,
but once you start, I mean, the best time to start would have been years ago. The second best time is today. Let's just just rip the Band-Aid and get going. So that helped me scale that business. Then I started from scratch as a side hustle, like a passion project, started doing education. And then that business has grown. I think we've done like $6.5 million in just 2.5 years since that business started, which I'm not saying that to flex, but I'm just saying, hey, this works.
That's teaching people how to make content?
Correct. So we teach people and we do events and we do education. And so that's the gross, but it's still cool to see a business growing that fast in just a short period of time because of content.
And that's the thing. You proved you can make $1 million a year on your own. So that's what made you eligible to teach it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people try to teach without proof.
Yeah, so I didn't do that until I had already proved the concept.
Right.
And then still to this day, everything we're teaching, I'm doing in real time. So that's why I always want to be in the industry as well, because I think there's a lot of coaches, and I don't knock anybody for doing it, but like you said, they're not doing the thing. So then you don't really have your finger on the pulse. Like, does this really work?
Yeah.
Can you really make money doing this? So for me, I want to prove it first and then teach it.
Exactly.
Because I found this, Sean, nothing sells like results. So if I could say to you, hey, I just set up this content marketing funnel and it generated this many clients and then we generated this much revenue. Would you like to learn? Like
it's an easy sell.
It's instant because it like people. The only reason people don't buy things is because they don't believe it's going to work or they don't believe it's going to work for them. And if you can dispel both of those with results, like you can scale anything. The problem is, like you said, most people don't have those results, so they're just selling you a pipe dream, and it may or may not work. So then, if I think people are, well, I know this, people are attracted to confidence and clarity. They're repelled by confusion. So if there's any doubt, like it's just gonna be hard to scale your business.
Yeah,
because
numbers talk, man.
That's it, man. So just like prove results.
Yeah. So are you fully like out of the real estate stuff, or is that more just passive?
So we have a team. I still do that every day. So I spend half my time on the mortgage and real estate business, and then half the time doing the
Oh, got
education
it.
thing. So I'm kind of in both spots now. Maybe eventually that'll change, but for now, I like doing both.
What type of real estate models do you like? Because I know creative financing is hot right now. I'm seeing stuff about commercial real estate. I'm seeing stuff about Airbnb kind of dying off. What kind of strategies do you do?
So what I'm looking for is more just kind of the slow and steady, boring stuff. So what I've just now started to do more creative stuff because interest rates are so high right now
Right.
that you have to get creative with owner financing, taking over loans like assumable loans. My friend Pace Morby taught me about buying property subject to. So you
Right.
can take over people who have a really low rate. You can take over their mortgage. So these are all things that I've been getting into in the last year to acquire more real estate. But for me, prior to the rate spiking, was just like about finding good deals and then in quality markets that are growing and just buying property. So I've just been buying single family
You
homes.
buy and hold.
Correct, yeah. And then just leveraging that over time. So my strategy with investing has been to make money from something and then put that money, park it into a deal,
Right.
like a real estate deal. And then from there, go back to making money. And then these things appreciate, spit off cash, and then try and just build this, thing to the point where it's spitting off enough money. So I'm still in that growth phase. As far as commercial goes, I haven't gotten into it, but everybody who I talk to who's in the commercial space is telling me that there's going to be an opportunity in commercial real estate in the next couple of years because what's happened is interest rates have spiked. This is going to cause a slowdown. A lot of people thought it was going to make the real estate market crash, but it hasn't because there's just not enough homes to meet the demand of people who want to buy these homes. So real estate has kind of stayed pretty strong, residential real estate, but office and commercial has been having a lot of vacancy. Like
Really?
there's a lot of business, there's a lot of vacant office buildings that need to be renovated. You're starting to see big deals, kind of people go into default on these buildings. So there's going to be an opportunity. So real estate will have a little bit of a crash, but it's not going to be what you think. It's not residential. It's going to be the commercial space.
Interesting.
So I'm going to start looking in the next, year or two at possibly buying in that space. I have not bought anything commercial,
Yeah.
but I want to get into that.
And you're taking out loans against your equity eventually, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you can borrow against the properties you own. That's debt. So it's not taxable. Debt is kind of expensive right now. So that's where you need to get creative with financing.
Right.
But that's going to change. So right now, interest rates are at a 22-year high. They're going to come down next year.
You think so?
Yes. But right now, they have to stay high because how much inflation is out there. So there's so much inflation. Everything's expensive. The Federal Reserve is trying to kind of crack the economy. So they want to bring all that down. And so they have to leave rates really high for a period of time. So I believe that by this time next year, so 1 year from now, we're talking about fall 2024, you should see rates 1% or 2% lower than where they're at today.
So it'll be like, what are they now? Like 7?
Correct. Yeah. So if we can get into the high fives,
Yeah.
that would be really good for the real estate market.
Yeah.
Right now at 7, it's putting things kind of on lockdown, meaning like in the 6s, they were slowing down, but still active. In the 7s, I've seen people just kind of back off.
Yeah, it's too high, man.
They're just like, yeah, I don't know.
7 on $1 million is like $70K a year.
Correct. So
That's a lot.
it's quite a bit of interest that you're paying. So, and then you think about unsecured debt, credit cards, auto loans, like those rates are getting really high as well.
Yeah.
I saw somebody send an offer in the mail the other day and I looked at it, it was like a balance transfer for a credit card and it said 17%. I was
Holy
like,
crap.
what the heck? Like people are taking advantage of this? Like,
Yeah.
So this is insane as far as how expensive money became. And it was just very quick.
Dude.
It went from cheap, like almost free money,
Yeah.
to like the most expensive money in 2 decades.
It's nuts, dude. I was on the phone yesterday because I'm buying a house right now, and hard money is 11 to 15% right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it just makes deals a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
And so it's not that the market's going to crash because everyone who has a property, who has a low rate is just hanging on to it. And then buyers are saying the rates are too high. So I think we're just going into a state of
It's a stalemate, right?
it's just a gridlock.
Because the prices aren't dropping in
No.
Vegas, at least.
Correct. Yeah. In most markets, there's not enough supply.
Yeah.
Like people who are saying the market's going to crash, they didn't realize like most of this is based on demand and supply.
Right.
Demand's pretty decent because there's a lot of people who want to buy homes, and then there's very few homes to buy. So if you go out and look, and you probably found this, there's not like a bunch to look at.
No.
Like you're like I just bought a house 6 months ago in Vegas,
Yeah.
in Summerlin. We looked for a while, we didn't find.
Summerlin doesn't have bro.
There was nothing. So we like kept looking, and then we found one. And we're like, oh, we gotta move on
Yeah.
this. But I mean, at the time, there was like 3 properties to look at.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could look for like 10
Yeah,
homes
yeah,
on a
at least.
weekend, and then you could look again next weekend. So
Yeah.
there's not that much to look at. Meaning, whatever's there, if it's quality, it can be sold. And the only stalemate now is becoming, as the rates kept going up, the buyers are like, I don't want to buy. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
So I saw in the news that rates are going to come down next year. So why don't I just hold off?
Yeah.
So it's just creating this like super low level of transaction.
Makes sense. Neel, it's been fun, man. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
No, man, just thanks for having me. And then if anybody wants to connect or needs help on content and all this stuff, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I'm at Neel Home. I respond to all DMs. So just DM me and I'll be happy to help.
Love it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.